Well, small beer is a different thing.
Yeah, right.
It's a
Ever
different
get a good
substance.
answer?
You might not know. You
What?
can find it in your day, but it's not very common. So you're all familiar with tea,
Yes.
right? How's tea made? Two things you need. What makes tea? Tea, in
So
whatever
like
form.
iced
Any tea. You need tea and one other thing.
Water.
Water, exactly right. You can even take tea, throw it in a jar, stick it on your porch, and it will become tea
My mom used to do
eventually.
that.
Yeah. So imagine you're making a conventional pot of tea. Tea leaves in a pot over the fire, boils, you drink off the tea, have tea, great. And now you're left with used tea leaves in the pot. Pour more water in, brew it again, what do you get?
Small beer.
You get, well no, what you get is you get weak tea.
Yeah, yeah.
So take the mash that's left over from making beer, rebrew it, and you get small beer.
Oh.
If you can find it in your day, I'm relatively certain it would be perfectly legal to serve it to all of them.
Oh, really?
Because there's so little. It's not possible to get intoxicated on it. Your bladder can't hold enough in your body.
Uh-huh.
But it keeps you hydrated, and it's safer drink than water. It's more patriotic to drink than tea. And it's, have you tried? Anybody tried coffee? It's terrible. I don't think it's going to
Yes.
catch on. Yeah,
No.
right.
Yeah, I don't think this country likes it.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. So small beer, that's the way to go.
Small beer.
And it's the type of thing you would drink. It's when I'm a printer by trade, and when I'm set and type, all the letters are backwards. They're all the same color. You got to take them down and make them all. You do it in a you don't. Your form's down here, and you do it, but you make half a sentence in a composition tray, and then go like this, and put it on, so you don't have to keep bending down. That hurt my back just to demonstrate, actually. Anyway, so when I'm doing that, small beer. When I start printing,
Big beer.
big beer,
Yeah.
tall beer.
Tall beer.
Yeah, or just beer. That's
beer.
what you're familiar with.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because the printing is not hard at all, but the typesetting you have to have your
Yeah,
wits
you have
about
to be
you.
ready.
Yeah.
You have to be ready.
And that's what takes the longest time. I can on a humid day like today. Now it's gotten fairly hot, but this morning it was still cool, a bit cool, but I mean it's still fairly warm, but not like it is now, and still very humid. So in that type of situation, I can actually print faster than they can dry. Because I hang them up on a clothesline in the shop. Basically, it's essentially a clothesline to get them to dry, and I can keep 80 up in the air or something like that, and then I have to take a break, clean the typeset off, and
Do you
then
work in the printing press? That's
my print shop's at 2nd and High Street, or 2nd and Market Street.
Because a couple years ago I went to the
Just across.
Franklin one, and that's where I learned about the uppercase and lowercase letters, and that I also learned that year about what mint condition meant.
Mm-hmm.
And I went home.
Well, they were popping me all over the place.
And you are.
Yeah, thank you.
You are, exactly
Well, these
right.
guys are from Arizona. We're from Arizona.
I've never heard of it. I'm sorry.
And it was 117 degrees a while back, and they come here and they're like, it's hot here.
Because it's humid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's harder. Because the reason you want to stay hydrated, plenty of small beer, is because then you sweat, and the mechanism for cooling you off, if you're someplace dry, it just evaporates, it just goes away, and you get cooler. But here, if your skin's exposed like this, you have to wait for a breeze to take it off you. If you have natural fibers like I have, it wicks the sweat away from your body. So right now, I have a shirt that hasn't seen the sun except for here and here since I put it on. And it's wet, and it's next to me skin.
And that feels
so,
good.
I mean, I'm not super comfortable because
Right.
I've got a wet shirt
Right.
on a hot day, but I'm not as hot as you might think I am.
Okay.
And then the breeze, because this is all natural, it blows right through.
What's it made out of? Wool?
This is actually wool, but it's a very lightweight wool, probably like a gabardine, and then either linen or this is a cotton shirt actually.
And your stockings are also wool?
Aye.
Or cotton?
These actually, I think these are wool cotton blended. This is a little bit cooler. What year is it? Oh, good question. I feel close to 50. Let's say 1745.
Oh.
1745, 1795.
No wonder you haven't heard of Arizona.
No, I haven't heard of it. So.
Yeah. It's out west.
Yeah, well, I figured that way. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, you walk on the flat earth.
I do know the world is curved. I did sail here from Ireland. You can see like the land disappear behind you, and you know that the earth is curved.
They know what they're doing.
What part of Ireland?
Strabane, Tyrone, up in the north.
Okay.
I'm going to continue doing that.
Is that Northern Ireland or Ireland?
Well, it's just Ireland in my day.
Oh, yes, that's right. I forgot what year it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is this clothing preserved from back in the day or remade?
This clothing was made by my personal tailor for me. So in order to better answer your question, let me talk about uniforms from the American Revolution. Guess how many uniforms from the American Revolution exist in your day?
0.
Close.
1.
3. Oh,
Right.
good for you, dude.
So now there's a couple of things to do with that. First off, cloth doesn't last forever, but the other thing is we recycle things. So if when this wears out, where does clothing normally wear out? Anybody wear clothes till they fall apart?
Joints.
In the seams, exactly right. So if this coat wears out, somebody could take it, cut it apart, maybe flip it so that you get the part that's not been in the sun, that's not faded, and then cut it down and it'd fit you, right? And so everything gets recycled. And that's also why you have to be careful when you go to a museum and you see an article of clothing and you say, oh, look how small the people were. Sorry, I didn't mean to poke you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Look how small the people were. No, the average height for a man in my day is like 5'7".
So you're like a giant.
I'm taller than average, but I'm
Yeah.
shorter than, I don't know, shorter than Thomas Jefferson, for example.
Oh, really? Thomas
Short.
Jefferson?
He's at least an inch taller than me.
What
Yeah.
about George Washington? Is he tall?
So here's the interesting thing about General Washington. First off, he every time I've ever seen him, he's wearing boots, which have a bit of a heel on them. And he's a big, like just imposed, like his hands are large. He just looks big. However, he is also a man who kept meticulous track of his measurements because he actually would before the war, he ordered his clothes from England. And he wrote like 132 words describing a coat he wanted to have made once. So the man is meticulous, and he says he's 6 feet tall. Now, there are others that say he's 6 feet 3 inches, which would put him just a wee bit taller than me.
So people say he's taller because they expected a bigger presence from him? Or?
Not necessarily, but maybe because he was a bigger presence. And like most people, he's grown in retrospect. So it's hard to say. But if he says he's 6 feet, around 6 feet,
Then he is
I would
around
say
6
he's
feet.
around 6 feet.
Yeah.
And through our lives, we'll all be a wee bit taller. Like I went through a
shrink.
period of time. The interesting thing is, I was taller, and then I got a wee bit shorter, and then I got a wee bit taller again. And it just had to do with sort of as I was growing. When I was a younger man in my 20s, I actually was shorter than when I was a teenager, because I sort of bulked a little bit. I got heavier, I got more muscle, and I shrunk a wee bit, and then I got a wee bit taller when I was in the late 30s, and it probably just, I don't know, like sort of I had to start cracking my back or something like that. Everything's sort of compacted from years of leaning over.
Hang your ankles from the
Now, in your
ceiling.
time, was Arizona part Mexico?
Or New Spain.
Or was Mexico?
New Spain, right.
Not Mexico yet?
That's a portion of so New Spain's a large territory, and Mexico's a portion of it.
But all that was Mexico, right?
So
Santa Anna gave it away
New
to
Spain.
the.
That's after my time, though.
All right.
Oh.
When did Santa Anna give that away?
I have no idea. It's
I
after my time.
learned that in the 6th grade, my friend.
But I was born in 1747, so I don't know.
All right.
I didn't go to 6th grade
You
because
don't
there's no
come back
grades.
and haunt and
Well, what am I doing now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a
true.
polite haunting.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
a
thank you.
knowledge imparting
I always
haunting.
love learning from ghosts. It's awesome.
Yeah, good.
Thank you. Thanks
Certainly.
a lot. Take
Have
it
a wonderful
easy.
day.
Yeah, you too.
Safe journey back to this fictional place. We're currently trying